Hey, we seem to have a little bit of a problem.
What happened?
Everything shut down on Facebook.
Really?
We are only streaming to Twitter and YouTube right now. So, it's funny because this morning when I came into StreamYard, it was logged out and I knew I was going to have a problem, but everything was right. I rechecked everything. I reconnected everything just to make sure, and everything is down off Facebook.
Wow.
So it's not streaming anywhere on Facebook right now. So I have no idea what to do.
Here, this is what we're gonna do. I mean, I can't go on yours, unfortunately, but I can stream to I think 1 or 2 locations. So I
Yeah,
could
and
put it
then can you share it to the pages?
Got you.
If you can do that. So I don't know what's going on here, but all the Facebook pages have got a quotation mark against them.
Okay.
So if you could share it to all the pages, that would be great. To Paralinks, to Hontophobia, to Parapost, and to Parapost 2. That would be great. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard recently, but it is Rob is going to share it to his pages as well. But again, there seems to be a lot of issues with StreamYard recently, just because of the maybe it's because of their new features they're adding. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've never had this problem before. And
we were just talking about this.
Yeah, in fact, we were just talking about before we came up that StreamYard's been acting funny. Like, I've never had to log into StreamYard. I've only had to log into it once. And I had to log into it today. But yeah, if you could share it to all the pages, that would be great. To Hontophobia, and I will then turn around and share it. Once you share it onto Hontophobia, I'll share it to my personal page.
Okay.
And we get all this sorted out. I apologize, folks, but we will get this sorted out. And it's weird. It's weird why that's happening. Where have you shared it so far?
Parapost 2. Now it's on your Hontophobia page. Just posted right now.
Okay. I will have to find out what is going on, because I'm going to put it on my personal page. We apologize, Glenda, for this. But what can we do? There's not much we can do about it, right?
No.
It is what it is. And it's not like you can really do anything in the middle of the show.
I know, right? You're kind of like, hello.
Everything was running fine. It all uploaded. Like, you'll even see that we went live on the pages, and then all of a sudden, boom, it disappeared.
All right, so I put it on both Parapost. I put it on Hontophobia. I put it on Global. So we're all up there.
Did you put it on Paralinks Plus?
Oh, actually, I'm glad you said that. Hold on one second. I totally.
So we'll get this show going so everybody can see it, because we want everybody to meet Glenda.
Exactly.
Obviously.
No, I totally forgot. Yeah. I apologize. That was my fault.
No worries, dude. So it's on Hontophobia. It's on the Hontophobia private page. It's now on my personal page. So it is everywhere. So we're getting the job done. I'm in a comedian. I don't know what's going on with me today, but before we came on live, some of the jokes were coming out, and I'm not normally like that. I don't know where it was coming from. Maybe it's because AJ is my co-host today.
That's what it is. See?
It's got to be. I'm
waiting for the jokes to start coming at me, because I could feel it. By the end of the show, we'll be talking about something. I could just feel it.
Yeah. And I want to let everybody know tomorrow night I will be a guest co-host on Rob and Nando's show.
Awesome.
Yes. Awesome. So that should be fun. Cool. So if you see, Nando made a comment, "Hello, lads." There's a little link there in his picture. Why? Do you know?
That would mean that it's sharing there, but I don't know. Hey, we're cage, baby.
I am completely baffled. I am
Yes.
completely baffled. Like, even if you only like, I have no idea what's going on. It's weird. That's weird. I guess I'm gonna have to reconnect everything after
Yeah.
the show. So I noticed when I opened it today, there were 2 other pages that because when we had the May event, uh, Matt was in my StreamYard and I was in his. So
Oh,
when
okay.
that happens, everything combines, like with all the shows that you can go to.
Yep.
So we ended up getting rid of each other's pages because it was causing a lot of problems. Because because that when this P3 was going, P3 people were coming up on my StreamYard instead of going up on Matt's. So it was causing a bit of issues. So we ended up deleting each other. We'll re-add each other when the next event comes up for Global Ghost Hunt. But yeah, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out what's going on. Anyways, you know what? It's funny. You want to hear something that's really funny? Nando's on vacation. And as I told you in the voice message today, I told Nando several times, dude, you're on vacation. Close Facebook. You're on vacation, buddy. Stay away. Go away.
I know.
I love the guy, but stay away.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
So what's been going on with AJ? I don't get to talk to you much anymore.
I know, man. Not much. Just trying to, just had to obviously switch work, so it's been a little tough. But other than that, just trying to keep the show, going and just having fun with it, and everything's been going pretty good. I mean, right now Robin's on vacation, so I get to, tease him when he comes back for,
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw a post. It's funny when, and I've seen this with other people from Europe when they're on vacation. They don't show a picture of the place they're in. They show a beer or they show a drink.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what Robin's post was. He was showing a beer can.
Yeah.
Which is fine, which is good.
Yeah, he didn't show that where he was. He just showed a beer can. And I was just laughing about it. So I talked to him today and I was making a joke about it. It's funny you said that.
Yeah. So whereabouts did he go?
He went to Ireland. He just went to
Ireland.
Ireland.
Ireland. Okay.
Yeah, he went to go see his mom, dad, So
very cool. Very, very cool. Cool. Well, we have a great guest today.
I know.
Excited. If you she's a woman of a lot of different talents. She's a paranormal investigator. She has 3 vodcasts on Parapost Network Central and obviously her own page. And people, if you want to go follow this woman, if you want to go follow Glenda, all her links are in the description. And go give her a follow. She's a great person. So like I was saying, she has 3 shows on Parapost Network Central. And she's also medium. So if you guys have any questions, or maybe she'll do somebody asks a question, maybe she'll pick something up and share that info with that person.
That'll be
maybe
neat.
Or just say I'm not doing it. You're very quiet, buddy. What's going on?
Oh, you're talking to me. See, I didn't
know. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, well, I said that was awesome, and then you just kept going, so I just ran with it. I said, I'll let him talk to this imaginary friend of his right now. I'm sorry, that was great. I was like, I answered him. I was like, but hey, I'll let him keep going.
Yeah, so Nando messaged me through Messenger. He goes, hey, are you doing Through the Lens today? Because it's not anywhere up on Facebook. Now it is.
Oh, obviously. Now you got it. See, we didn't even see. I would have never thought that either. But you know what's funny? I didn't see it either. Now that you said that.
Yeah, it's on YouTube right now and it's on Twitter.
Well, at least we got it back up. So.
And I see your name, A. And that's probably why. It was probably coming through what you shared out or from your page.
I only shared out after we found out that it was not on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I know. And that's why I'm saying maybe the link is there in Nando's picture is because you shared. He's on one of your pages that you shared out.
True.
Okay. That's why. Wow. That's why. Yeah. So we have, like I was saying, she's a woman of many talents. She is a paranormal investigator. She has vodcasts on Parapost Network Central. She's also a medium. She's also a Reiki master. I guess That's what you call him, a Reiki master? Is it a master or just Reiki?
Well, I would
Teacher.
say practitioner. I mean, it depends what level. So,
This is true. So we'll have to ask her. So we're going to talk about a lot of things today, hopefully, if AJ doesn't talk so much.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because AJ has a tendency to talk a lot.
I do. That's why
Which is
I'm
not
just
a bad thing. That's a great thing. That's a great thing.
Yeah,
it's an awesome
He doesn't
thing.
like my texts, though. My texts are a little too long.
Well, yeah, I will say in the last 9 months they have gotten better. They're a lot shorter.
Because I'm very mindful now.
Well, the thing is, when we first met, they were like chapters.
They were. They really were.
I opened it up and I was going, "Good Lord, I have to sit here and read this."
Yeah,
it's like 3 pages.
Yeah, I felt bad, but I was like, "Yep." Once you said it to me, I was like, "Yep." I knew you was gonna say that.
Well, no, the funny thing is, then the first thing that came to my mind was, you know what? There should be a limit on how much somebody could say in one text through Messenger.
Like a tweet.
Like on Twitter, you can only do, I think it's what, 240 characters now on Twitter, because it's gone up
sometimes. Yeah, which pisses me off.
Maybe it should be 240 characters, but then I would have 15 different, different messages either way.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So yeah. Oh, there's your buddy there.
Oh, hey, what's up, Robin?
There's your buddy. Yeah, Robin, we were just talking about you a few minutes ago, Robin, that we found it funny that you didn't show any pictures where you were, but you showed a beer can. Which we thought was quite funny. Anyhow, other than that, why don't we bring Glenda up and we get the show started?
Yeah.
So everyone, here's Glenda Dawson.
Thank you.
So am I right when I said that, a Reiki master?
I'm actually a Reiki grandmaster.
Grandmaster. So what I need to know, if you can share this with us, and if people in the audience don't know, what is the difference between a grand master and anything underneath that? And that sounds bad, because I don't want to say underneath that. I just want to say there's obviously different levels, right? So
correct.
What are those levels?
First is just for yourself. That's level 1. So you just get attuned for yourself. Level 2 is an actual advanced practitioner. Level 3 is a master. And then from that point on, level 4, 5, up to the 25th that I'm at, I'm grandmaster.
You're at what, 25th, you said? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. So do you get something in the mail? It says congratulations on being number the 25th spot, or like, is there something that comes in the mail and says, good God, woman, get out of this. You're 25. No.
Probably. No. What the higher you go, the more work you have to do. So, the first few levels are just basically you go to class.
Okay.
You may have a quick quiz. You get attuned. Okay, so you got to go. The higher you go, the more your is expected.
Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about that, and it's almost like people in Europe that have been married for like years and years and years. They get that letter from the Queen, right? Which I'm assuming now the king is going to be sending the letters now. And there's a lot of people out there that know this about me, but some people that don't know me about this. And I thought about all this when you said the 25 and the levels and stuff like that. I used to be a hairstylist. I was a hairstylist for about 13 years, and I used to have what's that?
You'd never notice with that bald head.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Thanks. There's always got to be a bald. There's always got to be a bald joke. Anyway, so I used to have a lot of men sit in my chair, and we would talk, and they would tell me that they've been married for like 60, 50, 60, 70 years. And I would always say to them, what's your secret to your successful marriage? And I would always get, obviously different answers. And the main ones that stuck out to me the most was, there was this one gentleman. He was like 75 years old, and he had like 5 hairs on top of his head, and he wanted to come in and get a haircut, which I thought was funny enough, but still a really, really nice man. And I said to him one day, I said, what is the secret of your success? And he goes, stay at work a lot. And which I thought was really funny. And then there was another gentleman that would cut his hair all the time too, and he would come in, and I would ask him the same thing, and he goes, I'd say yes a lot. So I thought about, and I know that's way off base on what we were just talking about, but it's just something it hit my mind, and I thought it was extremely funny. That's why I had a little bit of a chuckle when you were talking.
I need my Tuesdays and Thursdays by myself here in the center.
Yeah, well, I know because your husband is quite funny himself, right? So your husband, I remember when I was on your show, and your husband, before we came live, or before we went live, your husband was quite funny, and he's the humorous guy. And I think personally myself, when it comes to marriage and marriages lasting long, you both have to have a sense of humor, and you both have to laugh. But
because that's one of them would be dead.
Well, this is true, but I find that really interesting because I don't think I've ever really spoken to a Reiki master and asked them where these different levels and stuff like that. And I find that interesting. So, how do you, just to follow up with that, how do you know that you've gone to that next level?
Because your energy, first of all, you get attuned by an actual Reiki grandmaster that has done this way before you. I've had the grandmasters from Japan, from China, and from England, and from South Africa, who have, and also Texas, who have traveled through here, and I would get attuned. I would get to take the.
So you just can't do it yourself, right? Okay, I've done this enough.
It's not recommended. It is not recommended.
That was more of a joke, but
you could definitely tell the difference. There's a lot of people that say, well, Dr. Usui did his own attunement when he went out and he rediscovered Reiki.
What's going on? Was she just removed? My computer's acting all weird right now. Sorry, guys. No, you're still here. It says you were removed, but you're still here. Okay.
Hi.
There we go.
Hey,
what is going on?
Sorry about that.
What is going on? What is going on? It says she was removed. That's weird.
I look good for a ghost, don't I?
What's that?
I look good for a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you saying, AJ?
No, I was just going to say, this is what you get at the 25th level. You can mess with all type of electronics. You know what I'm saying?
Well, well, that's true. That's true. That's true.
No, Glenda, I wanted to ask you about this because I'm very interested in getting into Reiki and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I commend you for being in it this long. And I didn't even know it goes up to the 25th level. But I wanted to ask you, what are you able to do at that level? Like, what can you do for somebody?
I could appear in wherever they are in the world, and I could give them a treatment right there, like if I was in person.
Wow.
I could do, I hate to say this way because I'm going to hear it, but I could do energetic surgery. So if somebody is a soldier and is bleeding and whatever, I could stop that bleeding until they get physical help. That kind of thing.
Wow.
I could stop, if I know it, I could stop things going off, or I could create calmness somewhere. If somebody's in an argument, then and I found out about it, and they request, because I have all of my students and anybody I treat, I tell them, if you need me, just say, Glenda, please help. And my higher self knows to just be there.
Interesting. Wow. So you can basically walk up to somebody and just do a surgery on them without them knowing. It's kind of, it seems like it's a little bit invasive.
I ask for permission.
Yeah, of course. I get that. I was trying to make another funny.
I wish.
Yeah,
I wish I could get away with that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
it's always I know a few Reikis, but I've never really gotten into what they do, and I think it's really interesting and really cool. So, as you know, as I said before you came on, you're also a medium, and you're also a paranormal investigator. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the paranormal?
Okay. Before the age of 2, I was already seeing archangels, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, and both. And to me, that seemed natural, so I didn't think anything of it. Actually, archangels are the ones that told me I could walk, because I was told, and my parents were told, right the day right before the age of 2. Up to then, I wasn't able to walk, and they told me you can walk, and they pulled my hand from my chair, and I walked, and I haven't stopped since then. Thank God. And so to me, whenever I saw any ghost or anything, to me, that was natural. And, then I started talking to my mother and saying things out loud. And she would say, don't tell anyone, just me. You talk to me about it.
Yeah. I get that.
I guess she didn't want me to get put away, or my father bring the reverends and the priest over.
Yeah, I get it. Trust me, I get it. And the only reason why I say that is because when I was started experiencing my stuff when I was about 9 years old, I was very quiet about it because my family were the type of family that if people were able to do that, they should be locked up and put away, and the keys should be thrown away. That's the kind of type of family I came from. So I was very, very quiet. So I completely understand what you're talking about. But go on.
And so then at the age of 5, my father found out I could see archangels or angels.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And I was the only child in an exorcism, a family exorcism.
Wow.
So I got to witness an aunt of mine floating on top of water and then being pushed by the spirit into the water, and then floating on top of water and being pushed inside the water. And they said that my energy was needed in order to stop it, so then the priest and the reverend could get them to separate it, could get her clear, is how they put it. They didn't want to say exactly what it was. I mean, I'm 5 years old, for goodness sakes.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, she's having a dip. She's having fun. What are you talking about?
So, yeah, well, it's funny you say that, because as adults, and when we see kids and they're talking to what they call an imaginary friend, is it really an imaginary friend, or is it something real? So yeah, I get that. Go on.
Well, adults forget that children come in open, and they don't get closed down until life makes them close down. If their friends make fun of them, or if their parents are very against it or anything like that, they start to close down, and their gifts don't develop. So
yeah. And when did sorry, AJ, when did the paranormal investigations start for you?
That started right after high school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago. I'm going to date myself, but around early 1980.
I was thinking more along the lines of the beginning of 2000.
Very
2005, 2010, somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah, of course. But yeah, I met with some friends, and we started talking somehow about ghosts, and they were into it. And I was like, oh my Lord, there's other people. And we just started doing it quietly. We would go into abandoned buildings, and they would bring their little radio, because in those times it was the dial-up radio, and we would find something that wasn't taken by any radio station at a frequency, and we would get noises. It wasn't exactly as modern as it is today, but you could still get a lot back then.
Yeah.
And
AJ, you want to go ahead?
Oh
AJ?
no, I was totally fascinated with what you're saying, because
so am I.
Yeah, like, just with everything. I mean, even when you said when you were, 2 and 5, and all the things that you experienced then, did you ever go through anything like where your parents kind of like shut you down, like for a little while before you got into the paranormal, or did you stay open, would you say, as a child growing up?
I stayed open. The only time I shut down was because I'm Cuban. I was born in Cuba, and my father and I were given permission to come to the U.S. first. And then my mother and my brother 18 months later. So during those 18 months, I shut down because I wanted to shut down emotionally and everything. I mean, it was a big change being in a big family because I had, my father was one of 18 siblings.
How many?
One of 18. He was the last one. Yes.
Wow.
So I had a lot of a lot of uncles, a lot of cousins, a lot of, And
I was going to say.
And then come to the U.S. and basically, nothing. So I had one uncle that was my mother's uncle. That was it.
Now I'm interested. It has nothing to do with paranormal or anything like that. Were you there when Fidel Castro was in power?
Yes.
And I'm honestly, this has nothing to do with anything. What were your thoughts about Fidel Castro? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Well, Fidel Castro was a very big abuser, criminal, and murderer. There you go. Sums it up.
Okay, well,
I had to be.
Well, I have to say the only reason I say murderer is because one of my cousins got murdered because he went against the government. He said something, and they actually murdered him right in front of the family. So
now I don't know if you know, there's a rumor, and it's been a rumor for a long time. Our prime minister here, Justin Trudeau. Well, if you take a picture of Fidel Castro at the age of his young 30s, I guess, and you put Prime Minister Trudeau up against him, they look a lot alike, and apparently back in the 70s, the Trudeaus went to Cuba, or it was the other way around. I don't think he came here. I think they went there, and apparently, I don't know how true this is, but it wouldn't surprise me. But apparently, Justin Trudeau's mother had an affair with Fidel Castro. Then came Justin Trudeau. So if you ever get a chance, just look up Justin Trudeau and Fidel Castro, and they put up their pictures right beside them, and they look like identical. And and now everybody understands why he's ruining our country, because let's be honest, Fidel Castro ruined. Just saying. So
he's on a roll today, AJ.
Yeah. Just saying.
Hey, and we wonder why our StreamYard's messed up right now.
Yeah,
they're on to us.
Justin Trudeau is his ratings right now are not very good. And when he first became prime minister, he was taking a lot of selfies with a lot of different people. Well, that seemed to drop off right off the. Nobody's taking selfies with him anymore. So, but anyhow, other than that, I digress, and let's move on. So, go ahead, AJ.
Sorry, Glenda. I wanted to ask you, as a medium, what is going on in the afterlife? What happens when we die? It's a general question that you probably get so often, but how do you describe it? Because there's so many different ways that people describe it with different religions and different beliefs and different things. And so what's really going on as a medium? What do you pick up? What does your spirit guides tell you?
Well, do you want me to tell you what I experienced the 5 times?
Yes, please. No, because because I know every medium has a different, experience.
Wow,
I feel
5 times.
Cat. I feel like a cat. I'm waiting for 3 more times. And
well, what's interesting about that? And I know you met AJ for the first time today, but AJ has passed away once.
Oh.
Yeah. 12.
So how many? What?
12.
What?
OD'd 12 times.
Oh.
See, I didn't know that.
OD'd 12 times. The last time I OD'd was the only time that I remember where I went and what I experienced.
Didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
my apologies.
Well, congratulations, AJ.
No, thank you. Appreciate that. Yep. But please tell us your experience.
So the way I look at it is, and this is from my experience, is the time that I passed away, I was all of a sudden in front of somewhere. Um, Clouds, you could call it. Um, you could say heaven for those that are Christians, or whatever they want to call it. It is a place. And when I went there, I felt a lot of love, a lot of peacefulness. I didn't feel any pain, but I didn't see the same way people say they see. I saw energy because I saw more of the what people call the soul than I did a body. This body goes away, and when I was there, it was very bright, very light, but very. You felt a very very heavy duty love, like unconditional love, absolutely. When we finally go, that we're supposed to go, I believe we go from here to what people call the light, and we get debriefed. Did you learn the lessons you signed up for? Did you do your work? What well, you could have taken this road, but you chose to take this road. So what is it that we have to redo? And if you checked off everything you did for that lifetime or that contract that you decided to come for, you're done. And you don't have to recycle again for those reasons. You can decide whether you want to come back or not. Now, I remember a couple of my lifetimes where I did the exact same thing. So I had to keep coming back until I finally got it. And every single time the opportunity to learn was a little tougher. So I went from say for example, a woman who got abused or a man who got abused, and I didn't learn. So they came back. I came back, and it was a harder abuse. So it went in higher and higher degrees until I finally got it and said, no, this is enough. And then I didn't have to come back for that lesson anymore. I learned how to put boundaries. I learned how to love myself. I learned how to not take BS from anybody. I learned how to be as healthy as I could be and be me. So
interesting, because it just reminded me of this, and you guys are talking about AJ, yourself, and Glenda, and how you've passed away, and it just made me think of this, that I know somebody that went to a medium, and I don't know if you believe in this, Glenda, but I found this really interesting, that her father passed away a number of years ago when she was quite young, and her brother disappeared, and was never found. Unfortunately, he wasn't a guy that was necessarily a good guy. He was into stuff that he shouldn't have been into, basically.
mm-hmm.
So this person went and saw this medium because she really wanted to, because nobody ever knew what happened to him, and she really wanted to kind of get an answer on what happened to him. And apparently, from what I understand, or from what the medium told her, that he was taken, but he didn't live long. Apparently, he was hit in the head several times, and that's what she saw. But what I found interesting, though, and this is where my question comes up for you, that she told, now what you need to understand, yes, he's passed away, and then she asked, well, are they together? She goes, well, they're not really together, they're on different realms, which means that her father was a really, really, really good man, did a lot of good things in his life, shared a lot of love to a lot of different people. So he was more on a higher realm. Now, her brother, who wasn't necessarily a great person, was on a much lower realm. Now, they knew they knew each other were there. Like they knew they were there, or the father knew the son was there and the son knew the father was there. Do you believe in the like different realms? If somebody hasn't necessarily been great in their life, like I'm not a real believer, and I know a lot of people will probably disagree. I'm not a real believer in the whole hell thing. I'll be honest. I think if somebody's done something really wrong and they've been a absolute jerk and they did a lot of crimes and then they committed all this, they're earthbound. They're earthbound. And then, but if you find somebody that maybe was dealing drugs or something like that, which not really that bad, still bad, but not that bad. They're on a different realm. And because her father was so nice and so kind and loving to everyone around him, he's on a much higher realm. Do you believe in that whole different realm thing? That was very long-winded, I understand, but I needed to get that out.
I don't call it realms. I call it dimensions.
Okay.
Okay. So if you did not learn your lesson, because obviously that her brother did not learn his lessons, because the idea, we're pure. When we come into this world, we're pure.
Yeah.
So the idea is that when we leave this world, we go back to our true self. And it seems like her brother didn't learn the lessons of getting out of that type of lifestyle. And into everything he was in, he needed to get out. He will have to come back. So he kind of stays here. So it's easy for him to come back and relearn those lessons.
So it's like a do-over. It's like doing it over again.
Right.
So what would be the purpose of that? Like, what would be the purpose of that do-over? Like, why not just stay where they are?
Well, you signed up. I believe. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah.
Not everybody does, but the way I believe it is, before you come down, you say, okay, I want to learn X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to have such and such and such and such with me, help me, give me those opportunities. You come down here and you learn X, Y, but you forgot Z, or you chose not to learn Z. Then you come back again until you learn Z. Because
well, that's interesting, because then my question is, for the people that are much higher in the dimension, as you would say, they're not necessarily going to come back.
No,
it's the people are in the lower realms.
They could still come back.
Or dimensions. Yeah.
They could still come back to learn different lessons, to learn do different lifestyle, to help, to be the battery, for example, to be the person who gives the opportunity to others to learn. Sometimes you just come back to protect somebody. So say, for example, when you're up there, all right, when you're gone on the other side, you see everything that's happening all at once. So you could see into the future and the past and the present all at once. There's no time. We're the ones that are making up the linear time. They could see it all at once. So when you see, oh, that child is going to get abused, and there's no reason why that child should be abused. But if I go down, I can intercede, and at least maybe they get abused, but they won't get as abused, and it won't affect them as much, because that child is very important for humans to learn and to awake and to upgrade and all that other stuff.
Yeah, you say it much nicer than I would. My simple word would be recycle.
Recycle.
Everybody's just getting recycled. They die, they come back, recycle.
Now, do we have you said we have a choice to come back or not, right?
Yes.
Okay, so say if, like, have you ever encountered actually, this is the best way I can try and put it. After learning all the lessons that we learn and our soul reaches what people would call enlightenment, do we go into a group consciousness? Like, what happens after that point?
We are in a group consciousness, period.
Yeah.
Because consciousness is basically a group. It's each and every one of us is part of it and a piece of it. So it's kind of like up here, a cloud, and then you get the little tiny clouds that go all around. Well, at some point, those clouds unite and become one big cloud. That's basically it. And you take all that knowledge and all that good positive energy, and you combine it. So we go back home, is what I call it, because we don't have to come back at that point, unless we choose to.
Interesting. So, where are you when it comes to the negative end of the spectrum, as they say, in demonic and all that stuff? Like the angel, the demonic entities, or whatever you want to call them, are the actual fallen spirits, and that's what a demonic entity is. Are you a believer in that, or am I saying that right? I think I'm saying that right.
I call it chaotic.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's a soul who has met up and doesn't want to go into the light, has died, doesn't want to go into the light. And what happens is they stay in a realm that they pick up a lot of negative energy. The longer you stay in that realm, the more you pick up. And you become chaotic. I don't want to say, because I believe this is hell. Okay, let's face it. We're born, and we really got to struggle. It's a struggle.
If you met my ex-wife, you would probably say the same thing. So.
Wow.
Kidding. If my ex-wife is watching, I'm kidding.
But reality is that, you have, for example, you had children. In the old days, right, they used to say, if you did something wrong, you would go to hell. So let's face it, this kid I met up with a child entity that needed to cross over, and he was beat up by his father. So he kept saying, I don't want to go up there. I'm going to meet up with my father. He went to heaven. I know that if I decide to go, I'm going to go to hell. And we had to kind of explain to him that when you go into the light, it's not heaven or hell. It just is. And it's a peaceful place where he could meet up with his mother, and he could meet up with his siblings and all that. And once he let go of that fear and all that anger he was carrying, he went up into the light. And when I got to see him again a few months later, he was much brighter. He was just an entity who came down, visit, and went back up. But he wasn't chaotic anymore.
Interesting. Now, before we go any further,
yes,
as you know, I'm able to see spirits too. There's been I don't know how many spirits you have in your place right now, but there's been a woman behind you the whole time that I've been watching. And
long hair, long white hair.
I don't really see the facial features. When I see a woman, it's more of a black mass, and I can tell if it's a woman or man. But she's been on your left side the whole time that we've been on the air with you. She just came in as you started talking, and she's been there the whole time. So she's on my left, your right.
Right here.
Yeah. So is that where she normally is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting, because I watched her come in. And I don't know if anybody noticed. I actually looked and followed her coming into the stream, and I thought that was really, really interesting.
That is neat.
Yeah. That is what I call my granny.
Okay.
It's 8 or 9 generations up.
Oh, wow.
On my mother's side, we're all very gifted women.
Okay.
It only used to be handed down to a woman. I handed it down to everybody in my family. So all my children have it. The gifts and all that. Whether they use it or not, that's up to them. They have access to it. But yeah, she protects me. She's technically me. That was me 8 generations back, and that's why it comes with me now.
Yeah, because she is a shorter woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just getting into your vodcasts.
Yes.
What were the purposes? Like, as I said at the beginning of the show, you have 3 different podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about each podcast and what your focus is on those podcasts, so people can check them out when you're streaming live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me start with Glenda Dawson presents Eric Husbands. We channel the Council of what is called the Council of Nine. We channel a lot, on the show live, Council of Nine, any other entities that want to come in, including galactic entities. So basically, it's the 2 of us, but you also have people come in who don't want to be on camera, and it's okay. So we don't put them on camera. You could still hear them if they talk, and they go by pseudonyms and all that other stuff. So if anybody ever sees one of those shows and feels inclined, gets a calling, whatever, please, the more the merrier. Then I have the Paranormal Dolls, which is strictly paranormal. It's,
and that's with your co-host, right?
Right, co-host Sarah Garcia. Moon Girl.
Now, before we go any further with that, I want to say something about that. I need to say something about that, and I'm going to say something about that because back about 2.5 months ago, I think it was about 2.5 months ago, somebody hacked into my Instagram account.
Yeah.
One of my Instagram accounts, I have several, but somebody hacked into it and actually put a real bad comment underneath her video.
Yeah.
And and you reached out to me.
Yeah, I was like surprised.
You reached out to me and you obviously showed me what it was. Now, I hadn't been on this page in a long time. So normally what I do is if I go into Instagram, if I'm posting like on Global Ghost Hunt, if it's a picture, then I will post it to several pages at once, because you can do that in one account. Right. So I was never going to that page really at all. So I tried to go to that page when Glenda reached out to me, and I couldn't get in. I was locked out, and I didn't even know that. And which surprised me, because if I was sending something to them, you think I would have gotten a message saying I can't deliver the picture to that page, which is what I wasn't getting. I thought I wasn't getting. What I found out was they were going all in my spam. So I wrote to Meta, and they were able to get my account back, which is unusual because normally they can't do that.
Right.
But they were able to get it back like I think it was the day after. But I want to apologize to your co-host that was not me.
That's why you surprised me, because
I'm sorry that happened, and I hope she's watching the show, because when you sent me the comment, I went, Jesus, like I said some other words along with it, but I'm not going to share those words. But I want to apologize to her, and I wanted to do that, and I was going to do it at the end of the show, but I figured since you were talking about the second show, I thought that was the perfect time. So anyways, go on, and I apologize for cutting you off there.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And then the third show is Glenda's Dragon's Den. Glenda's Dragon's Den, we invite an array of people. Anywhere from,
I was on.
Yeah, that's why I say an array.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anywhere from paranormal to metaphysical to life coaches. Then we even talk about spirits, dragons, butterflies, anything that helps show different aspects of people's beliefs, people's lifestyle, and to help humanity, because everybody's stuck on one way only, and they get closed off. So I'm not about that. It's like we want to show everybody different aspects and different ways that people do things to help themselves and raise vibration in general. So
yeah, that's cool.
Those are basic.
Cool. That's very cool. And I watch all your shows, and Obviously, I'm always sharing them over to Huntophobia page. So if you guys want to check them out, either on Parapost Network, her channel, anywhere, all the links are below, and you can check her out and give her a follow, and tell her that you saw her on Through the Lens and you're coming over to follow and start watching her, because she's very enjoyable. And if her husband came on a little bit more, you would have a barrel of laughs as well, because he's actually quite funny. He's one of those guys. He reminds me of one of those guys that he's sitting back and people are talking, and then all of a sudden he spurts out with something really funny, just out of the blue.
And he's always thinking. That's the problem. He's like 3 steps ahead of you.
Yeah, and I will get him as a co-host, because I know he messaged me after we said that Lex was going to step away for a little bit until he comes back, and he reached out to me and said, I would love to be a co-host on your show. That is going to happen. It's just a matter of when, but just let LD know that he will be coming up on the show, and I'm sure that we're going to have a guest that has a lot of sense of humor.
And not take anything personal.
Anyways, other than that, AJ,
I just wanted to ask Glenda. So, what with all your podcasts, what is your goal with these podcasts as a whole? You probably already said it with helping people with different beliefs and everything. But is there any other goals that you have for these podcasts in the long run?
Basically, my goal is to help people who are alone, who think that they're the only ones, or think that they're crazy, or think that because that's what society has told them. There's many different facets to the jewel of humans. Yeah. There's galactic, there's ghosts, there's angelic beings, there's beings of all different dimensions. We all exist at the same time. And just, they could be sitting right next to me and I wouldn't know it, because my vibrational level at that moment isn't high enough to see them. So, but they could see us. And that's what I'm trying to make people understand, that we're not alone. We're here. And they're not alone in the way they're thinking. Just to reach out and know that there's always somebody there to help you. There's always somebody there to hear you. Just have to reach out. And like I tell everyone in my own podcast, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm everywhere, so you could reach me through many different
avenues, for sure. Sure. There's a lot of different areas. Just going back to the paranormal side of things. Mm-hmm. Now, before we came up live, you said you do a lot of private investigations.
Yes.
So is there one that sticks out that really, every time you think of your investigation, you go, wow, I can't, that's the one that really sticks out? Is there one like that? And can you talk a little bit about that? I know sometimes private investigations are supposed to be private. I get that. Mm-hmm. But is there one that really sticks out in your head that you can maybe share with us what was going on there?
Well, this one is, they have given me somewhat a little permission to talk about it a little bit. It was a clubhouse that was about to be demolished, and the board of directors for that community wanted to find out more about it. And they called me in, and we went through every floor. Some were, you kind of had to pray because you had to walk in between beams and all that other stuff. But I remember that one because I was playing with a little girl, 5 years old, and she told me her name and she told me everything. And there was one guy there that was also joking around, and I was able to give them every single type of detail I could give them, that they went now to the historical records and found them. They found the graves. They found the family lineage. They found, because the little girl was a reverend's daughter, because it used to be a Baptist camp. And so She died very young. I think she was 5 or 6. Well, I think she died right after. So it was like around 6 years old she died. She got sick with what now we get sick and we get cured, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And she loved it there. So she went back to stay there. And
you couldn't cross her over?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay, yeah. Cool.
I crossed most of the spirits. There was only one that said, "You crossed me over, but I'll come back." And he came back, the jokester. So he came back just to play around with the groundskeeper. And then one Native American guardian that you can't cross those over. Those you just pay respect. And what they wanted was to make sure that when they demolished the place, none of that stuff went into the water because they had a stream going by. And he wanted to make sure that everything was clean and that if they were going to demolish and they were going to not rebuild, that there'd be trees planted and just make it nice. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
no, and this is great comment from Rob, and I want you to see this because these are the type of comments that we love to see. And obviously Rob, Rob from the patrol is just a great individual. And it must be really nice and doing what you do and helping people, especially in their their most maybe saddest time, and helping lift them up and making them feel better and stuff like that. I like when somebody calls me and they're asking me questions and stuff like that, and if I see something I know somebody that asks me all the time, do you see this person here, do you see this person here? And again, my abilities are unfortunately very limited because of my negative blockage in the back, and this, Glenda, that I can only see certain things, and unfortunately I can't turn it off and on. So what do you do? And I'm sure you've been asked this question. What do you do to turn it off? Because I know some people, it doesn't turn off at all. It's constant. So what do you have to do in order to turn off that stuff?
Light switch off.
So you have that imaginary light switch in your
and I turn it off.
Yeah,
I have to, because otherwise I would not be at peace. Have you ever gone to a funeral? Or a wake, a burial?
I don't. Well, that's those. Not a lot of people know this. I don't do hospitals. I don't do funerals, and I don't do clowns. So, yeah. So, yeah.
Of all the things, I like that.
Clowns is I don't do clowns, and I try to stay away from dolls as well. But it's really interesting because that's one thing I'm unable to do is turn it off and turn it on. If it happens, it happens. And sometimes I can go a week and I'm seeing it constantly. And then for 2 weeks, I don't see anything.
Well, get in touch with me.
What's that?
Get in touch with me and I'll do a session.
Well, and this is what I was going to ask. Not for me.
I was
going to ask if you could do a little. I was going to ask if you could do a little bit of a reading for my friend here, my co-host, because he did come on the show today, and it's his day off, and I figured, you know what, I'll ask Glenda if she can give him a little bit of a reading, just for a little bit of a gift, because he came on the show today for me.
All right.
Yeah. Are you okay with that, AJ?
I mean, I'm okay with it if Glenda's okay with it.
Is Glenda, are you okay with that?
Okay.
Okay.
All
right. Let's see. All right. I have a woman who is about 80 years old. She used to wear her hair up in a bun. Who's on your left side. And she is basically saying to stay away from a place that starts with a C.
Okay.
Okay. And she's also saying that every individual from that place you need to cut ties from. And she also said that you were thinking about something 2 days ago to do, that you wanted to do, kind of like one of those, oh, I really would like to do that kind of thing. She said, go ahead and do it. Now, I think it's something that will help your spirit. It would uplift you even more than you're already uplifted, because you should congratulate yourself for getting out of that whole scene. And then I'm going to send you a private message with the rest.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I wanted to let you know, the 80-year-old woman, it's crazy that you said that. It's my grandmother. My grandmother passed away in 2020. Lost kind of like my whole family in 2020. So it's been a little rough, but my grandmother was 80 years old. She passed away within 3 months of us finding out she had cancer. And exactly what you described was exactly her, to the T. And I don't remember exactly what I was saying a couple of days ago, what I wanted to do, but I know it had to do with moving and starting somewhere fresh. And because I've been so aggravated lately where I am, and
can I just stop you right there? Can I just stop you right there? Now, the interesting part, he lives in Connecticut.
Oh,
yeah.
The C.
The C.
Yeah, I didn't even put that two together. Wow.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And obviously message her and get the rest of that. But that was that was great. That was great. And as soon as you said C, I went, oh. And now you're talking a couple days ago, you're thinking about moving. Are you thinking about moving out of Connecticut?
Yes. Yes. It's been really on my mind lately. And that's so crazy because I didn't connect the C. Wow. And you know what's wild?
And I didn't know where you lived.
No, and it's wild because there is certain people here that I probably should cut ties to, and I for some reason haven't. And I don't know what it is. I guess I'm hanging on to the past of what things used to be like, and that part of me doesn't want to let go of those friendships, even though I know they're no longer friendships. They're just people who I associate, from time to time. It's really not beneficial to my soul or to theirs. So it's one of those season things, where the season for them is up, or the season for me is up. So you hit on that on the nail, and I'm so grateful that you came on. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's cool. So my very last question before I let you go, and we asked this
spot. No.
Well, it's kind of putting you on the spot, but it's a good one though. It's good. Yeah, it's a good. So this is a question we always ask our guests at the end of the show. And usually Lex does this because he throws in all kinds of things that happen throughout the whole interview. I'm not as, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not as creative as he is when it comes to this particular question. So, as a paranormal investigator, if I were to give you a bag of money and you can go anywhere in the world to investigate a location, where would that be and why?
Any castle in Romania.
Ooh. Okay. And why?
It just keeps calling me. Romania in general has always called me. And I believe there's so much history and so much energy there that it's very old. So it's got a lot of richness that we could probably learn a lot from there.
Cool. So what you can do now is, if you want to, I know you have a lot of links, but if people want to follow you, and I know they're in the description, but if you just want to say what they are, give a shout out for yourself.
All right. Well, on YouTube is Glenda's Magical Creations. That's the first one. Then you could go to my website, glendasmagicalcreations.com. And then you could just follow me on Facebook, Glenda's Magical Creations, or Glenda Dawson. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm basically everywhere.
So what nights
Glenda Dawson and you'll find me.
Yeah, what nights are your vodcasts? So people know when your vodcasts come up.
The Paranormal Dolls, that's on Mondays, 3 o'clock Eastern. The Glenda's Dragon's Den is on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then on the Eric Husband's one that's Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, cool. Now, one last question before I let you go.
Yes.
The woman on your right-hand side.
Yes.
Keeps popping in and out. And she just left like a few seconds ago and then popped back in. Is she saying something to you about this show? Or because I got a strange feeling she's saying something, and I'm not sure what it is, again, because I don't hear their voices, but she's definitely saying something. What is she saying? She's going, that guy in the hat's a goofball. No, well, we're both wearing hats, so you really can't say that. But the guy in the black hat is wearing. The guy in the black hat's a goofball. Get off this show, for God's sakes.
Yeah. No, she's glad that I came on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, you know what? Too. Yeah, and I'm so happy you came on the show. I'm definitely, because there is so much more that we could talk about, that I want to talk about. So I'm definitely gonna, if you're up to it, I would love to bring you back on down the road. Definitely. And I would love to, once Lex comes back, I would like Lex to be there, because I know Lex will have a crap load of questions for you. And that's why we all love Lex, because he's a great guy and has a lot of questions. And I don't know if it's necessarily the questions because he wants to know the answers, or he's just being nosy. Oh, we love you, Lex. We miss you. We want you to come back. Hopefully he's going to be back soon. And but I want to say my thank yous for coming on the show today. As Rob said, it was very, very insightful, very informative. And you've been an amazing guest. And I want you to say hi to your husband for me.
I will.
Unless he's watching.
He's probably watching.
Yeah, okay.
He probably went on Facebook and go, "Oh my God, where is it?"
But so again, I want to say thank you for coming on to Lex is being nosy for the sake of conversation. Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's quite possible. So but thank you again, AJ.
I just want to say thank you so much. That meant more than I can even ask, and I will be messaging you after this for the rest. And I just want to say thank you for coming on. It was very informative. There is so many more questions that I have and that can be asked. So I can't wait to see you come back on the show. I also have to get you on my show because there's a ton of things that I'd love to talk to you about. But I just want to say thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for coming on. It was honestly, it was an honor.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's my honor.
And this is one of the reasons why we did this show, because now that AJ's been part of this show, he's going to bring you over to his show, Talking with the Source.
Thank you.
This is what this is all about. This is one of the reasons why I started the Parapost Network Central page. So we can have guests like yourself come on the show, and then the other podcasts or vodcasts are watching and go, I want this woman to be on my show, and let's make you get so friggin' popular that you'll only have one podcast, not three. So you'll be on everybody's podcast and getting out there and stuff like that, because I'd love to see you on more vodcasts being interviewed to show your talent and your gifts. And I just love everything about you, and I am so glad you came to Parapost Network Central, and it's been an absolute honor having you on the show today, and I look forward to having you on again down the road.
The honor is mine. Thank you very much.
Okay. You have a great rest of the day.
You
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. There we go. You've been freezing the whole show, mister.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on.
Yeah. It's
that
was awesome. And I had so many more questions to ask her, and we could have gone on for 2 or 3 hours. Like, really, we could have. And I definitely want to bring her on down the road, and hopefully Lex will be back. And because, again, all kidding aside, he will definitely have a lot of questions for her. So, AJ?
Dude, I was pumped. Thank you so much for having me on because, like I said, like, she nailed that completely. Like, that's something that, it's something, I mean, I've had that on my mind recently very hard. And it's just wild that I didn't even think about asking her to do that. So I appreciate that you asked her for me to do that, because that means a lot. And what she picked up on really hit home. So thank you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, of course. So Rob has said this. AJ was freezing and Bryan was blurry.
Yeah.
Thank you, StreamYard. We appreciate that.
StreamYard.
Thank you, StreamYard. We appreciate your quality streaming service.
50 bucks a month. Love it.
So I don't imagine I will be getting a sponsor by StreamYard anytime soon. So
it's
it's all good. But AJ, is there anything that you want to shout out before we leave?
Just
is there a show coming up or anything going on?
Yeah, we took 2 weeks off because one of our co-hosts actually went, obviously, to go see his mom and dad. So we're actually starting up next week again. We're going to be having on some great guests on the show, Talking with the Source. You can find it on all the podcast listening platforms, all social media platforms. And if it wasn't for Bryan here, this show would not exist. So we appreciate everything he's done for us. And we just, can't wait to get back on it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And I want to thank everybody that came in the room today. I want to thank StreamYard for their amazing streaming service. And I also want to thank Glenda for coming on today's show. Sorry, StreamYard. I honestly, I had 8 platforms ready to go and I'm only on 2. Well, now that they're shared to the other pages, what the hell?
Oh, what a day.
Oh God, I got to get off this show right now before something else happens. So again, I want to thank Glenda Dawson. I want to thank AJ, my special co-host for today. And obviously I want to thank everybody that came in the room. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this show. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Until then, have a great week and see you guys soon. Ciao.